Hey YouTube, I wanted to try something a little bit different today because I do lots of videos with really big doors, big folding doors, big multi-slide pocketing doors, and the automation systems and how to install those. But those aren't applicable to a lot of people, so they're really cool, but a lot of people can't have them in their own homes. So this is going to be a video, I hope, about a single man door that has been removed. I didn't remove it. Somebody else removed it. It's been installed for I don't know how many years, and we're putting it in a new location. This is at a remodel / addition house that we've been working on for off and on for a few months now. So this door was installed. I've never seen what this door looks like. I don't know what kind of condition it's in, but we're gonna figure out a way to reinstall it in a new location. So I think it's pretty applicable because it's not even a brand new door. It's a door that's been used. It's an old door that we're going to reinstall. So hopefully we can make it right. We can seal it up. We can make it weatherproof. I don't want this thing leaking. I know the homeowner doesn't want it leaking. So we're going to try our absolute best to go and reuse this door that I've never seen before. And I'm just kind of hoping for the best. So let's go see what we can get into. Well, it isn't the worst door I've ever seen. It's also not the best door I've ever seen. We've got, you can see where dog or something. It's definitely been scraping there. Don't have any brick mold on it. It's got the old screws in it. So we've got to do a little bit of cleaning up, but it's going to go in this hole right here. And yeah, try to clean this thing up the best that I can. And then we'll knock that plywood out of there, make a sill pan, and install it. If a normal person can do something with one tool, I might be able to do it with 5 tools. If a normal person needs 5 tools, I probably need 30 tools. Kind of ridiculous. I got a tool belt. I like my tool belt. I put knife, I got bits, I got a star bit, Phillips bit, long drill bit, got a punch, scraper, tape measure. I like the shoulder straps, so if this becomes heavy, it's not pulling my pants down and I don't have plumber's crack, because I'm a door installer and I don't really want door crack. It just doesn't even sound right. So I've got this door here. I haven't checked the rough opening on it, but I'm gonna start by trimming all their little finish nails off, and then I'm gonna pop the door slab out and take out these screws instead of trying to cut through those. Those were all the nails holding the brick mold on. Yeah, it must have been brick mold. And these little Dremel blades do a great job. They do wear out. They got a carbide tip on them. Not Dremel blades, but Diablo blades, I'm sorry. They have a carbide tip on them, so they eat right through those little finish nails, but they don't get through the big screws very well. These big screws will just destroy those blades, so flip this around, pop this door slab out. This really is a perfect door for this because it's not very tall, so I don't need a ladder for everything. I would normally like to remove the weather stripping to get to these screws, but the weather stripping is just trashed. So if I try to pull it out, it's not going to go well. So I'm going to leave it in. All right, that was certainly a little bit annoying, but all of them are out. It's a little bit easier when there's still some threads left on the screws. So now I will see if this thing's gonna fit and then pop the plywood out. So, well, I need to cut the sill plates out, grind that bolt off. I'm sure the block isn't level, and gotta open up the opening and then frame it down. I got a lot of work for just this little tiny door. Media, 107 y 70, media, So I've cut away the sill plate and the foundation anchor here, and I'm left with this block. And I wouldn't really love this, but it is filled in with concrete. And then I am supporting the back edge of the sill every 5 or 6 inches or so. So I actually don't think it's too bad. And then I can create an air seal up at the front here, and I'm going to put an aluminum pan. So that's the next thing we're going to do, is we're going to make an aluminum pan. I didn't have a level that fit in here. I had a 36-inch level, which I would have had to cut, and I have a 2-foot level, so it doesn't quite get me the distance there. But I have a laser. I set the laser here. I can check here and here. And then I can cut a board that's nice and straight, and I can check that with a level to make sure that it's nice and straight. And as long as I know that this and this are consistent, I can take this and I can see that I'm flat all the way across. So frame this side in and then ground this down flat. This side over here is actually up just a little bit higher than this side because this is the hinge side. I like to put the hinge side up a little bit higher than the locking side because it just allows a little bit more adjustment within the door. So the next thing we're going to do is make a metal pan, and we'll fit the metal pan in, and then once the metal pan's in, I'll take these pieces of flashing, we'll wrap them in, and then I'll put some zip tape over top of everything and down into the sill pan. So let's go make a sill pan. So I'm not a big fan of carrying around a large metal brake and hauling that around on the side of the truck, a 10-foot brake or 12-foot brake or 8-foot brake, whatever. I'm not really a fan of it. It's just a large piece of equipment that for our purposes with doors and windows, we're never really making trim that, any kind of aluminum trim that is for appearance. It's always under a door. Nobody's ever going to see it again. So I use this edge roller. There's different styles, but this is a style that personally works for me. So I carry this around, carry aluminum, and actually get it in the, I think this is 14 inches. I get the 14-inch roll just because I can cut it into 7-inch pieces, and that serves well for 4 9/16 doors, but it also, the 14-inch pieces serve well for the multi-slides since their sills are so much deeper. So I've got the edge roller, I've got just simple metal forming pliers, snips, and a square. I wanted to call it a triangle. Yeah, so let's we'll make the sill pan here. I measured the width at 33 7/8, so my aluminum needs to be a bit longer than that so that I can fold the ends up, and I measured the depth. So I measured from the plywood in 4 9/16 and then made a mark, and then I measured the actual concrete block in this scenario, how deep that is to that mark, and it's about 4 1/8. So my bend that's under the door is actually not going to be 4 9/16, but closer to 4 1/8. I'm adding about 3/4 of an inch on each side. That give me something to flap up. This stuff is really sharp. Cut yourself real easy, so be careful with that. All right. I've got tape. I'll take the tape off here. All right, so I've got, this material is just under 7, and if I do I'm gonna say a 1/2 inch in the back, something like that, and then the door is gonna be 4 1/8. So I'm left with a little bit over 2 inches that's actually gonna hang over the block. I think that'll be nice. set my edge roller to a 1/2 inch here. It's got markings on it, making things really easy. I'll go just a little bit over 1/2 inch. Count for that little radius in the aluminum. Yeah, this thing will make a line. When I try to bend this to 90 degrees, it'll make a line on the aluminum. But again, I don't care because the door is going to sit right here, so it's going to cover that up. Now I want this to be about 4 1/8. Put a mark there. Pretty big mark, but all right, and a mark over here, 4 1/8. Measure, what is this? 2 5/16. 2 5/16. Awesome. So because that's 2 5/16, 4 1/8, I can set this at 2 5/16. That should be golden. All right, where are you? 2 5. There you are. 2 5/16. Make sure it's all the way back. Let's see if that matches up with my line. Yeah, I'm gonna say that that'll be. Now you know what? I'm gonna go just a little bit more. All right, perfect. Right on the line. All right, so I think you can probably see that we've got our back edge here. This is on the inside, and this is on the outside. It's gonna drape over top of the block, the outside. So now let's bend the ends up, and I like to do it in a way that this corner, I don't trim this corner. I feel like if you trim this corner out, what's the point in the sill panel? So, sharpen this. I'm going to do, I don't know, maybe 5/8 of an inch. I don't really have a good rhyme or reason for this end because I did the back at about 1/2 of an inch. I could have done the sides at 3/4. Maybe I still will do 3/4. I think I'm gonna still do 3/4. Give me something to, a little bit more room to tape down onto. Make a line up to the front, so I know where to cut. Or exterior, I guess. Cut to the line. Now this is certainly where it's tricky because I don't want to fold this interior edge down, but I need to fold this side up. So a little bit of origami here. Get the pliers lined up on my line that I drew, and I'm going to use some pressure from my thumb and my fingers down below to hold this. Now it never turns out perfect, but like when it turns out at least a little bit decent. All right, I can take this, fold it around. Yeah, see, not perfect, but it'll do the trick. And I don't have any holes in the corner. So I know what the overall dimension of this needs to be. Measure 33 7/8. Get my tape measure to cooperate here. 33 7/8. 33 7/8. That over to the top. I am gonna trim this a little bit. I need to go get my other pliers. It is what it is. Fold that back down. All right. Cut to the line. Squish that fold down. Push that over just a little bit more. And there we have a sill pan. So you can see the corners. There's no cut. It's well, not seamless. I don't know. Would that be seamless or just bent? I don't know. But there's no hole. That's what matters. And even if I did break the aluminum a little tiny bit, which I didn't, I'm gonna fill this with caulking. So there's no chance of water coming in through the sill of the door. Let's go see if it fits. Buddy, that is snug as a bug in a rug. I do like that. That's a nice fit. I have my sill pan installed. caulking underneath it, and little bit of debate whether caulking should go on top of it or not. I always do caulking on top. That's what I've done. Taped down the sides and taped over the ends of the soap pan, and the soap pans, as you saw, do not have a cut in the corner. They are one piece. There is no cut in the corner. So I like quad OSI, and I specifically like the gray quad OSI. Use it on everything. We even sealed the roof of an RV with it, and it's holding up. It's not meant for roofs of RVs, but literally did the entire RV with this stuff. I recommended it to somebody, and they gave it a shot, and they said, what the heck, it's good stuff for houses, so why is it not good stuff for an RV? And it literally has sealed the RV for a couple years now and doesn't show signs of deteriorating. So anyway, I love this stuff. Go ahead and put it down, and then I got the door frame sitting over there. Put the door frame in. I put the clamp up here so that I don't have to worry about the door frame falling out while I'm getting it adjusted. And my boot has a hole in it, and when I was stepping, there was air that was moving through my boot, and that felt really nice on my foot. I always like to use these long stainless screws, at least 3 inches. I like to use these guys in the hinges and in the strikes. I think it makes everything way more secure. So if it's especially in a door like this where it didn't come with screws and all the screws that it came with were all cut, I grab some of these and install them in the hinges. I think it's time to set the door slab in here. Kind of tight working space, but figure it out. I like it. So what I do is I set the hinge side. I get all the hinges installed and I use a laser to make sure that that's all straight. I actually tighten the top up a little bit more so that when the door's hung on it, it'll lean perfectly. I'll put shims in behind on the bottom. The top I leave loose with just the fasteners so that I can adjust that if needed. But if I put it in with the laser and put this top in that way just a little bit, and now I can see what the reveal looks like with just this jam. And I haven't put any fasteners up here, so I can adjust it as needed. I wish it wasn't so dark in there, or I'd take you in there and show you this tool. It's by FastCap. It's a knuckle bender. And mine says it's patent pending, but I bought it quite a while ago, so it might be patented for all I know by now. But anyway, it's just a pair of adjustable pliers, and it's got these cutouts, and they are meant for the hinge. So the top hinge, I want to bend just a little bit so that the door is pulled over just a little bit. The gap between the top, as we're looking at it now, the top right of the door slab and the frame is a little bit bigger than it needs to be. So the only way to correct that is by bending the hinge a little bit, or chiseling out the hinge mortise, but this is so much easier. It will nick up the hinge if you're not careful, but I guess the risk of damaging the door by trying to chisel out the hinge mortise is also present. So I'd rather use this and just be careful with the hinges. You just have to pop the pin out and work on one hinge leaf. Well, you can do both, but I'm only going to work on one. Perfect. Well, it worked, and I'm going to call that a wrap. I'm going to throw foam around it. Well, not throw it, but put insulation foam around the frame, and that's it. This thing actually turned out way better than I thought it would. It needs some new weather shipping on this side, but otherwise it turned out great. And the siding guys are going to side this thing right now, actually. They're literally waiting on me, so I'm going to let them get to work. But I hope you enjoy. If you like this, please let me know. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you like it. I'm going to try to do whatever you guys want. We do a lot of different doors and window styles, so I can make lots of different videos. The technical stuff is obviously a little bit more difficult, but this is just filming a day of, hey, we've got an old door to reuse, and we have to reframe the opening, we have to grind the concrete down below, make a metal sill pan, and then set the door and seal all around it. So a lot of different steps to put just one single door in, but I hope you enjoy. So like and subscribe if you enjoy, and let me know what you want to see more of. I want to do whatever it is that you want to see.